Kevin has not come, yes, sir. Let it be. Kevin is not there. The ladies with the children also must sit down in the puja. They haven't yet arrived. Someone must go and tell them.
Someone with a car, please go up to the main hall and tell the people that they should arrive. Preferably a gentleman with a car.
What are they doing?
Suddenly they returned, they had to clean the rooms by 12.
Mother, we've just been told that we have to clear our rooms by 12 o'clock, so it's caused a bit of confusion and a bit of
Why?
lateness. Because the authorities would like the rooms back by 12 o'clock.
Oh, I see. So then,
So they're trying to quickly clear their rooms as well.
yes. But I will finish the puja quite early, about 11:30 they could have gone there. Because if you start late, it will be late again. In any case, I have to finish the puja early because I am going earlier.
There's many people that have cars actually help the people come back down to the hall.
Or they might be on their way. Are they all coming together? Just see if they are coming together. Come along fast, come along. Even the people with children should come here. Ask them to come down.
Shall I quickly telephone Suki?
Huh?
Shall I telephone Mr. Suki?
Ask someone else. Not necessary, we'll do it from the, hello, we'll do it from the station. Then what about the follow-on? They'll come down here. You can have the hall, I think. Some people should stay in the hall. All right, the rooms you can vacate because you called the people here.
There'll be something, there's a locked room where all the...
You can give the rooms, but yeah. Please be seated. All the children must sit here quietly. Let's see. Very nice girls. Very nice. Yes. Kamala, all of you should sit down. Children should be there in the program. Who's there? All the little children should be here. Today I want to talk to you about children because yesterday we talked about the Muladhara part. Now why we are not so collective as we should have been, much more collective. There has been conditioning on us from our very childhood, if you see. In the Western lives, we are shut in our houses, we don't have relationships with others, we are kept extremely protected in childhood. I think the parents have the fear in this country that we lose our children because they get lost. After they start getting their doles, most of the children leave their parents and go away. Parents are left high and dry. They feel that our children will leave us at the slightest pretext. So they teach them not to talk to anyone, to be away from everyone, and cuddle their own children all the time, look after their own children, and they can't see a child talking to another lady. They feel jealous. And they feel that the child may be lost because they think they cannot give adequate love. If anybody can give love to that child, they feel that that child will be lost. And the child also becomes such a individualistic child that it takes liking to a very particular type of a person, and then after some time that person starts overpowering that child, and the parents lose the child. It's a very sick society in that manner. As far as the children are concerned, it's a sick society. It doesn't know how to bring up their children. Just the opposite is in India. Just the opposite. I think that's one of the reasons why Indians become collective very fast. Is that in childhood, when we are little children, or people have children, it's regarded bad manners to take your own child in the presence of others. Absolutely bad manners. Say now I had my daughter, and when I went to my in-laws, we couldn't take the child in my lap, you see, except for milk also, which I was nursing the baby. So they had to say that now you better nurse. Time is there. I would never demand that give me the child, I'll take away. Never. It's regarded bad manners. And now I see why it was that. It was bad manners to take the child in the presence of others, in your lap, to say this is my child. It was regarded as something very crude and ill-mannered, and as if we are not from good family, that we don't know how to behave before others. And even to say that this is my child was not permitted. I would say that this is your child, to introduce, this is your child. It's something surprising. Now I am realizing it, why it was so in that society of ours. We are not supposed to say this is my own child. If you go anywhere, who's that? That's your child. Even the house, we would not say this is my house to anyone. Will you come to your house? The whole, you see, the cultural background gives us that collectivity. Now, I have told this before also, why people are so sex oriented. I mean, they are so sensitive to the touch of another person. Anybody who touches them, they get a funny feeling. The reason is other sensations are not developed within you. That is also because you always cuddle your own child. Child only knows the mother or the father. All the time its child is with you. As a result of that, what happens? The child never feels the other sublime relationships with others. Anybody who is the other is an identity which is something different. And when you grow up, then you suddenly touch somebody, then you cannot feel those sublime things. When you are innocent, when you are a child, I mean, we never slept with our parents. It's a very common thing in India that now supposing if I am in the house, my daughters will give their children to sleep with me or with my husband, with brothers, with other, if my brothers are there or their brothers are there, then they would give their children to sleep with them, not with themselves. The psychological reason was that perhaps they understood it, because it's a very traditional country, so they have understood it, that the psychological reason behind this was that the child gets used to another man, another woman, at that sublime situation, at that sublime consciousness when they are innocent. So the relationship of innocence is developed. Nobody feels anything funny if somebody touches you or does anything. This is the reason if you see a man touches a little boy, he gets funny sensation, the boy gets a funny sensation. It's absurd, because you must believe in the principle of collectivity. Now, I have seen that people cuddle their children too much in this country. And that's a very wrong thing to do all the time, carry the child on your lap, carry the child on your, this thing is too much. If you overdo it, you will find the same children will hate you. Because in childhood they develop a sensation that they are overdoing the things, you see, and they cannot express it. Allow the child to play as much as that like. Take the child whenever it is necessary. Let others take the child, not you. We have such a big community of Sahajogis here. But what I find, the mothers are carrying the child all the time, or the father is carrying the child. No, give it to other people. Let the children be with other people, sleep with other people, enjoy others' love, and don't have fears. They'll love you much more. And that's how I think we first of all build in them a kind of a stigma, a kind of a funny feeling that develops later on into these perverted relationships. That they feel to be with some another person is something bad. All these things can be given to children in a very easy way if you try it in childhood. Another thing is that I find, like in my husband's office, I was surprised, everybody is called by name, like there's a deputy of CP, he's called Tom. Even a driver will call him a Tom. But see, we are very particular. I mean, my husband especially is very particular. He'll even call his driver by his name, Mr. So they dare not misbehave. The relationships must be established in childhood. Like I've seen people calling Gavin, little children calling him Gavin. I mean, we would never call like that. Or even if you have seen my grandchildren, they'll say Gavin uncle, at the most. It comes to more formal relationship, they'll say Mr. Brown. But they won't call Gavin. That's not done. Auntie, uncle. A relationship has to be established. It's not only your father and mother are important, but you snatch your children, I have seen, from others. You want to hold on to your children and just grab them all the time. That's why they run away from. Overdoing it. There's no need. Children are very independent, they can look after themselves, they can manage themselves. And just to keep them pleased, you take them to shops, make them buy things, get things, and then they get used to it. You want to satisfy them that way. No. You must know that child is very intelligent. And you have to bend the child's mind according to your own understanding of collectivity. And if you do not do that, they'll become like all other children who are just vagabonds. I see them, as I told you once, I was coming from Oxted, and there were some children about from 8 to 9 years of age, not very big. They were of some public school, had no discipline. They entered into my compartment, it was a first class compartment. And they had some sort of sharp things with them, some knives maybe or some razors. They started rip opening all the seats for nothing at all. And they didn't do anything to me, of course. And I was quite worried. I said, why are you doing this? So they said, shut up. So I got up, went to another compartment, and they said there are some 2 boys who are traveling with them. They were smoking, sitting down nicely on the other side. So I went and told them these boys are doing like this. So they came back, they slapped them nicely, slapped them, hit them. Just, they didn't even cry, nothing of the kind, and pushed them back into their places. And then the next station came in, the station master came and he was saying, now what to do now? You must learn to discipline your children from now. Why can't they sit in the program quietly? What's the problem with them? From the very beginning, they must be made to feel the vibration. They must be made to sit with other people. It's because they find that their parents are their own, the rest are not. That's how racialism also develops, because they think the other people who are not fair are not our own. All kinds of these scorpion type of temperaments, or you can call a snake-like temperaments, the secretive set temperaments develop when you start getting them exclusive to yourselves. On the contrary, if you allow them to be open, talking to everyone, opening their hearts to everyone, even the people who are grown up shudder from touching another's child, I have seen. They'll ask 10 times, should I take the child? What's the harm? I mean, in India, you go to anybody's house, they'll just pick up the child. And now they say it is for protection of disease and all that. But on the contrary, children develop more immunity. Overprotected children are very dangerously placed because they have no immunity for anything. Imagine in that country we have all kinds of parasites living. All kinds of parasites. Still we exist better because we have immunity to so many things. And that's how you people become very weak, health-wise. Imagine I went to Australia and we have 3-4 Indian boys there. They came to help me with the kitchen, lifting all the big things here and there. So I asked one of them, I said, why not ask these boys to do something? He said, they are only nice to look at, mother, but they have no strength. They have no strength. I have seen that. And it happens more in countries like in England, where it's such a bad climate, you keep your children inside, they don't go out. You all the time shut your children. They become selfish. They become very mean and very short-sighted. Open them up. Now you have a community, you have a trustworthy community. But you don't. Then one person will just, a dominating person will come out, catch hold of your child and use that child, blackmail you for the child, do all kinds of things. But if you just allow the child to play about with everyone, just allow, diseases will disappear, you will be surprised. Also, supposing you have a problem, say even with the back agya, if others are handling, it disappears. Because somebody has better vibrations, the bhoots leave you. But if you just all the time hold, you are a person suffering from a back agya yourself. You are holding all the child to yourself, the child has to suffer. We actually send our children to other people in very childhood, trusting them. And they love the children. Because here people don't believe that you can love the children. So here we have to trust others with our children. And that's the reason I think the children become so exclusive, they stick on to you, they cannot go to anyone. But you see in India, when you go, I don't know if you have visited any homes around, the children will be the first to receive them. They'll say, all right, sit down. Then they offer you something. If somebody is not in the house, they will look after you. And they'll know everything about you, what you said, what you asked for, what you wanted, everything. So sweetly, you know. Everything is on the record. And they have names for every uncle, for every auntie. And they remember all those things all their life. I met such children whom I had looked after in my childhood, in their childhood I would say more. And they remember all that I told them, the stories I told them and how I looked after them, and every little things they remember. It's so sweet to know that they know all those things still. One of them is now working in the World Bank. She got a big job in the World Bank. She came down the other day and she just started crying like a little baby in my lap, you see. I said, what's the matter? She said, Auntie Ji, I remember those days, you see. And so fond of me that she once went to a shop and she saw a sari, quite grown up, which I used to wear the same type of sari, yellow colored one she saw. She said, that's my auntie's sari. And she went and bought that sari. She said, that's my auntie's sari. Quite grown up. All these little things children remember, all the sublime things, all the noble things, all the things that are very pure. But you don't expose them, you just overpower the children, too much of it. And also then the children try to attract your attention all the time because they are used to you. They'll ask 10 questions, they'll talk too much, they will say things, and you will be tired. I know that when I was coming by train, I had a lady traveling with me, her name is Clive's wife, what's her name? She was traveling with me and her son. And poor thing, she couldn't talk to me because she had to tell stories to him and then this to him, and she wouldn't leave. I said, you just neglect him. Just neglect for a while and the child is better. And the same advice I gave to Barbara. Her son is very good. He went to Warren when he was there. He went to every person. He went and asked everyone. He went round the whole hall and looked at everyone. But in India, children do nothing. They are worried about everyone. They will go and see the vibrations. This exclusiveness and overpowering, you really hate your mothers and hate your fathers when you grow, if they are very over-possessive. This is possessiveness and a fear that we lose a child. Actually, you really lose if you have this kind of a fear and if you overpower your children. That's what I've seen, that children who would like to be in the program, no, all the ladies are standing outside as punishment. Why? Make them sit. They'll be all right. They'll sit quietly, they won't make any noise. But this overpowering attention to your child, and I have also heard that in the ashrams, the ladies who have children don't do any work. They just don't do any work. They are looking after their children, finished. And the rest of the work of the ashram does somebody else. To produce a child, you don't take much, do you? There's nothing great that you have produced a child, first of all. There are Sahajogis and they are in my trust, not in yours. And don't spoil them. No mother should sit with the child in the house or in the rooms, whatever may be the case. Allow the child to play with others. Sit in the drawing room. But they will take the child, sit in the room, feed the child, look after them. They have only one work, is to look after the child, finished. It's like an emotional blackmail, I think. That you just take the child to yourself and sit down there and say that, oh, I'm looking after the child, so other one thinks, oh, all right, she's a mother. I have so many children here. This motherhood should not give you such a funny idea that you have become so great that you should sit down and do nothing else. My family, I had 11 brothers and sisters. And my mother, I think, was president of a congress in Nagpur of Madhya Pradesh. She went to jail 5 times. And a very correct woman. She wouldn't tolerate any nonsense from her children. And that's another thing, that if the child does anything to someone, I've heard that children are very indisciplined. They hit others, they pull the hair, they say all kinds of funny things, and parents never correct them. Just adore them. When the children grow up, they just kick out their children, the parents. We have seen this happening. Because they are real life souls. They won't like this kind of nonsense. So be careful on that. Yesterday I talked to you about Muladhara. Let the children have a healthy, trustworthy Muladhara. Let them meet other people, be friendly with others, play with everyone, go around everywhere. Allow them. But otherwise they are very negligent about their children. What do? They don't even massage their children. They don't even clean their children. They don't keep their clothes clean. They don't give them baths regularly. They don't give them proper food to eat. This is one point we have to see, that our children should be made collective and very strong in their Muladhara from very childhood. And I've seen parents coming and telling me, we don't know why our child left us like this. You see, when he grew up, he was all right in childhood. This is the reason. They get bored with you, to be very frank. That's the only answer. Suddenly, you see, my son left me. Suddenly. Why? He was all right till yesterday. He must have been fed up now. Run away from this place. So they must have their own friends and they must go around, and it's really, comparatively if you see, the children have no wisdom of their own because the parents are so overpowering. They don't allow children to grow in proper way, to understand anybody else. I just don't understand what has happened to us. Why are we going wrong about children so? Now, another point one has to see about ashrams, which I need not have said before, but now I must tell you, that we have to be responsible people. That is also there. From childhood, if you don't have sense of responsibility, you can never develop it later. Like electricity bills goes up like hell. People never put off their lights. I mean, there is a switch which is to be put on and also put off. It's not only for putting on. Small things like gas or electricity thing, if once they are in the ashram, they don't bother. It's your ashram. Then food. The amount of food that is thrown away is something surprising. No value for food. No understanding how to organized, because there's no Graha Lakshmi, there's no housewife's qualities, because we are sitting with the child now, not doing anything else. Supposing you had your own house, then you would be shopping, you would be cooking, you would be looking after your child, you would be cleaning your house, cleaning the utensils, doing everything yourself. But in the ashram, they think now we have a baby, so we are in charge of the baby, let's look after them and sit down with them. I would love to play with babies all the time and have nothing to do with you. So, can I do that? Can I do that? I cannot. In the same way, we must understand. Now, we should not waste food. There are many people in this world who are starving. We have no business to waste food at all. I mean, on this, you'll be surprised that even the richest of richest in India would not leave anything in the plate. Richest of richest. And Gandhiji, in his ashram we were, even Maulana Azad and Jawaharlal Nehru had to clean their own plates, you see. So they should not take more. If they take more, they should not leave anything in such a manner that others cannot eat. Waste of food, a waste of electricity, waste of other energies, without understanding it means money. That's why you never have money. There should be a proper organizing as to what you are going to cook, what you are going to have, how much is going to be used. Nothing should be wasted. I have seen this tendency. I have seen this tendency myself, very common. There is no respect of food. No respect of food. That's why children also don't have any respect for food. Before food is served, you must sit with the idea that now you are going to have the food. It is a yajna. And that you have to eat that food with some prayer. Bless that food. Thank God that you've got the food. It's in the Lord's Prayer. And then the satisfaction comes in better, and you get a sense that no, we should not waste our money on food like this. There are so many other things one has to know about children, that you must know about their vibrations. You should be alert about their vibrations. Try to find out what's wrong with them. What do they do? Now, for example, you find a child who's misbehaving. Don't go on all the time with him. Call the child once, make the child sit down and talk to the child that you shouldn't do like this. When you are with mother, pay attention to her. It is you who is going to mold these new children who have been given to you specially because you are Sahajogis, and not to ruin their lives. You know, some children have become mad with this kind of a thing, like Datta who was here. And everybody made, you see, she herself was so careless, that you can't imagine. When I heard about her carelessness and the filth with which she looked after the child, I was amazed how Linda could do that way. And you should not be another Linda's to spoil that child's health, mind, everything. If you have a clean, neat place and a proper place, children would love it to be there. But no mother should sit with the child in the room. That is a law. In the drawing room, you can sit with your child. And in the room, when the child is sleeping, the child should be taken. Otherwise, keep the child in the drawing room. You'll see the child will become happier, because it is natural to be collective. It is natural for a child to mix up with others, to talk to others, to know about others. It's natural. Innocence is like that. Innocence wants to know the whole world. That's the time, if you don't allow the child to know, then he becomes perverted. He has problems. So give them a better life, better situation, better education, better discipline, because you are equipped. Don't give them what you have. This is real love. Otherwise, it's possessiveness. I wanted to talk about this because yesterday I talked to you about Muladhara, and I have been seeing and noticing what's happening to your children, and I find the amount of discipline they have is coming from you, how far you are disciplined. And by doing this, you play into their hands. They know that they can curb you the way you like. They know that you are depending on them. You can't exist without them. They have this idea. So they don't listen to you. But if they know that they will lose the love if you don't behave, they will be all right. They are very intelligent. So you must play your cards all right and see that your children brought to proper line of understanding, because they are different children, special children given to you as a trust. They are not your children, they are my children. So too much of huddling and hugging and this and that is not necessary. I mean, sometimes you break their bones the way you do it. It's too much. Try this on others' children, less on your own children. Try to keep your children out and love other children. I don't know what kind of psychology you people read, but it's a simple, straightforward thing. We must understand, as we are Sahajogis, that children have to be collectivity, otherwise I have to again break my head with them for being collective. They should be naturally collective. Alright, Gami, let's have the puja. I think today's speech must be written down and sent to all the centers. It's important. I find this all over in the Western city. If they have a child, then I tell you, suddenly they become more than an emperor. And the wife becomes more than an emperor herself. Not only empress, but more than an emperor. While I'm told your kings and queens never see their children at all. I mean, that's another experience.